Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio at Gallery North. I'm Mrs. Grass with your daily dose of art. On the docket for today's lesson is cartooning. Today, we're going to turn inanimate objects into living objects through the art of cartooning. So, an inanimate object is an object that isn't alive, okay? Like this bottle of honey, or this box of marbles, or maybe even this coffee mug. And through the art of cartooning, we're going to turn it into something that's living by adding facial features. Now, we talked about facial features on Tuesday with our drawing faces lesson. Facial features are the parts of a person's face. If you can add facial features to an inanimate object, you can turn it into something that's living. An example of that is Mr. Sprinkles. If you could see here, I've added a set of eyes and a mouth to this coffee mug to give him a little bit of character, and all of a sudden a donut turned into Mr. Sprinkles. So today, through cartooning, we're going to teach you how to turn some inanimate objects around your house into living objects. Hey guys, did you know there's a term for this? It's personification or anthropomorphism.
Tell us more!
That means giving human characteristics to things that aren't alive. Let's try it out. Here are the supplies you're going to need for today's lesson. Of course, something to draw with and something to draw on. Today, I'm going to let you choose what you're going to draw with. You might want to start with pencil so that if there's anything you want to change to your character, you can do that. And if you want to draw on something special, draw on the sketchbook you created on Monday. For those of you who didn't get to see our lesson on creating sketchbooks, you can find that lesson on our Facebook page at Gallery North. So, I have something to draw with. I'm using pencils, markers. I have something to draw on. I'm going to use paper. And I have something to color my character in with later. I have some crayons here from yesterday's lesson, and also some of my watercolors left over and some of my food coloring watercolors left over, and I'm going to use those too. And then, of course, you need some items from around the house to anthropomorphize. I have a good old-fashioned roll of toilet paper. Okay, so first things first. I've got my trusty toilet paper. This is going to be my reference today for my personification anthropomorphism project. I'm going to turn this roll of toilet paper into a character by just adding a few facial features. So I need to look at my object. Whatever object you decide to turn into a living being, whatever object you decide to give facial features to, you have to look at that object and make sure you understand its shape and how you can draw it better. I mentioned that when I taught you how to draw faces, that looking at something for a really long time is going to help you draw it a little bit better. So I'm really looking at my roll of toilet paper, and I can see that it's a familiar shape to me. It's a cylinder shape. And I am pretty good at drawing cylinders, so I think I know exactly how I'm going to get started. Okay, so I'm going to first start by putting the center of my toilet paper roll in. Okay, and then I see that the paper shape goes around it like this, and that's kind of the top of my cylinder. From the angle I'm looking at it, that's what I see. And then I can put two lines down. Okay, and a little curvy line across. And so far I have my cylinder. It looks great, but I have to make sure that it really looks like a roll of toilet paper. So I'm going to think about the piece of, like when it's unfurling, when a roll of toilet paper is unfurling, okay, that piece that kind of falls off it. Maybe that's going to be the back of my character. And I have to think of a really good name for him. So let's see. I'm going to put the lines in the toilet paper, you know, where you can tear the toilet paper. I'm gonna put that in, so that's gonna help us understand that it's definitely a roll of toilet paper. And then I'm gonna put a piece kind of flying off the sides here with a little tear mark in it. And that certainly does look like a roll of toilet paper. Now to give it some character, I'm gonna add some facial features. When you're turning an inanimate object into something living, you don't have to use all the facial features that a human has. You can think about what parts might make it look cute or what parts might make it look funny. If I were to give my toilet paper roll some really big ears, it might be really silly. It depends on what you're going for. I certainly want to give my roll of toilet paper some eyes. I think that it's really important. And I'm going to think about what shape eyes I want. When I think back to drawing faces, I remember that an eye is like a football or a lemon shape. Woo, that's a crazy shape. But when you're doing a cartoon character, you don't have to be super realistic. So you could do something like one of my friends here did from one of our Art Ventures programs. She put a really cute eyeball in there. So her little watermelons look just like so cute. They're the cutest. And she did that by making really giant eyes. And some of you might be really good at this because you practice manga or you do your own characters at home. And that's just a really giant eye with a tiny little shape inside that's going to be white. And that's kind of going to illustrate the reflection on the eye. Okay. And if you think about eyebrows, you could make your character look really angry depending on how you put the eyebrow in. So if I do a set of eyes and I put eyebrows on like this, my character's all of a sudden going to look really shocked. Oh my gosh, someone's coming after me. I gotta run, I gotta get out of here. I'm seeing something shocking. But if I do a set of eyes that have eyebrows that look like this, all of a sudden my character's really angry. So an artist has the power to help illustrate how people are feeling through a couple of marks and lines, which is a really extraordinary talent for an artist to have. So you're a little bit of a magician here. So depending on how you draw your character's eyes is going to illustrate to us, the people seeing it, how that character is feeling. So I'm going to think long and hard about how I want, what's his name going to be? Mr. Papers? Mr. Soft and Fluffy? Mr. Wipes? I have to think about it. Maybe, you know what? You guys can help me name him. After you see this video, underneath the thread, if you want to share an idea for his name, I'll look at some of your ideas and pick a name for him. He is definitely going to be a cutie patootie. I'm going to give him 2 big round eyes, and he's going to be a little shocked, a little worried, because maybe someone is running after him. And you know what? Does he need a nose? I don't know. You know, Mr. Sprinkles. I didn't give Mr. Sprinkles a nose because the circle inside the donut became his nose. I could give my toilet paper friend here a little tiny nose. There's my mouth. And I'm going to have him running. So I'm going to have one arm going up like this, and one arm going down like this. And my arms aren't very realistic. They're sticks, right? That's the best part of drawing cartoons, is that it's not real life. We can take from real life to draw a cartoon, and it can inspire it, our illustration, but it doesn't have to be super realistic. So a couple of stick arms is just perfect for Mr. TP here. And then I'm going to make it look like he's running. So I'm going to put one leg this way and one leg this way. I could even take a different size marker to draw different parts of him. I definitely think he needs some shoes, like good set of running shoes. Someone really needs this toilet paper. They're chasing after him and he needs to get away real fast. I'm gonna give him some hands. Again, you don't have to be super realistic, but I'm gonna give him a good set of running shoes. He's getting out of there. Whoosh. I could even think about motion lines. Something I mentioned in our water resist lesson was how Keith Haring used lines to illustrate motion or sound. So I could put a couple of lines back here and it looks like he's running real fast out of there. You know what, he almost looks like a superhero because he's got cape on. Let's keep that in mind when we're trying to come up with a name for him. I think because this part's going down into the roll of toilet paper, I'm gonna give it a little black shadow there. If you were doing this in pencil, before you color it, I would definitely outline it with a Sharpie or something dark, like a dark crayon or a dark colored pencil, and then I would color them in. Since my toilet paper is white, I am going to color the space around my toilet paper so that it looks white. So I'm going to pick a couple of colors here. I have some brown. I'm going to use the brown on the ground. Run, fast as you can. All right, and I'm gonna color the space around him. You know, sometimes I really love to use 2 crayons to color a background space. I'll use one, and then I'll go over that with a second color. It makes for a really beautiful looking background using 2 colors. I'm gonna take some purple and go right over this. That's another fun trick. Try and use that when sketching in your sketchbook. When you color, pick a couple of different colors and put them on top of each other. Layer them. You'll mix new colors. Did you know that? Did you know that you can mix new colors with crayons? If you put one on top of the other, you can invent new colors. All right, I think my little sketch is done. There he is. I wonder what you guys are going to name him. He's a cutie. All right, artists, I want to thank you so much for tuning in all week long to get your daily dose of art. I want to remind you that we're going to continue on Monday with our daily art lessons. So tune in Monday for a lesson on how to draw chickens, live chickens. Yeah, we're gonna have a chicken, special guest on Monday. Don't forget to share what you've created all week with us on social media, on Facebook, Gallery North, and on Instagram at Gallery North LI. Also, keep filling those sketchbooks with maybe some of these lessons or some other things you'd like to do all week while you're drawing. Make sure you fill those sketchbooks and don't forget to share them. And have a really great and creative weekend.